So the various tools operational and the chat channels working and all the other communication structures that the Anons were using to collaborate on these operations.
All right.
It was literally an hour downtime.
And just very quickly, before we go, Greg, what's with the masks?
The masks?
Yeah. What's the story behind the masks, just very quickly? And could there be other masks sort of involved, in the future?
There could absolutely be other masks. That mask was readily available, cheap, in every major city in the world, and had some good meaning behind it. So it really fit every key that we needed it to fit.
All right, Greg Hausch, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And that's all from us here. Now back to Anand in Doha.
Thanks, Daljit. And we are going to take a short break right now, but still ahead this hour. A colourful turnout for the start of Brazil's Carnival. And did it or didn't it? Why making decisions about crucial moments like this could be getting easier. The full story in sport when we come back.
We do accept that there was very bad mistakes made in our banking area.
Behind the headlines,
most South Koreans are not interested in reunification.
Is the inside story at this time on Al Jazeera.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies.
We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera, an unreported world.
This is the plight of Indonesia's street children. These children don't qualify for identity papers.
Some scientists believe the sea rise will be gradual, that Egypt will have time to adapt. But if the delta is dying, it's the poor people who will pay the highest price.
This is the biggest news in China over the past week, that a Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to a Chinese. And this is the reaction of the government.
Information travels in many ways. Knowledge passes in an instant.
If you want to communicate with those shaping the headlines, this is your chance to ask questions directly to the people making the news. Riz Khan, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Now over to Zoe for the sport.
Thanks very much. Barcelona have extended their lead at the top of the Spanish Primera División. The champions are 10 points clear of Real Madrid after a 1-0 win over Real Zaragoza. With many key players rested ahead of Tuesday's Champions League match against Arsenal, Seydou Keita made the most of a rare place in the starting lineup. Mali international putting away Messi's deflected cross just before half-time to give Barca the win. Real can cut the gap once more if they beat Zaragoza on Sunday. Valencia's 2-1 win at Mallorca piles the pressure on Villarreal, but it was Mallorca who took the lead, a foul in the penalty area. Ivan Ramis made no mistake from the spot. Just minutes later, though, Valencia were back on track. Pablo Hernandez driving the ball past the defence for the equaliser. And early in the second half, Hernandez added a second to seal the points. In Italy, leaders AC Milan have cemented their place at the top of Serie A with a 1-0 win over Juventus. It took well into the second half before Gennaro Gattuso broke the deadlock. His soup shot here, finally getting the fans talking about his football rather than his temper. The goal sealing the win to put Milan 8 points clear of Inter. Juventus, though, have now lost 5 of their last 7 Serie A matches and their 7th. In the English Premier League, Arsenal missed the chance to close the gap on leaders Manchester United. They were held to a 0-0 draw by Sunderland, which means their title hopes still lie in the hands of their rivals. The result leaves Arsenal 3 points behind United, who travel to Liverpool on Sunday. There were wins for Birmingham, Bolton, Man City and Everton, while West Ham edge out of the relegation zone. Now, FIFA President Sepp Blatter says goal line technology will be used at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil if a suitable system is improved in time. Frank Lampard's disallowed goal for England against Germany at the last World Cup sparked the recent interest. Last year, the International Football Association board voted against using technology to show whether the ball has crossed the goal line. But FIFA is now ready to consider using it, so the IFAB will continue testing various systems for another year before making a final decision. Alongside discussing goal line technology, the IFBA have also turned their attention to football's latest fashion accessory, the snood. This neck warmer, made famous by Manchester City players, including Mario Balotelli and Carlos Tevez there, will be banned from the beginning of July.
Because this is not part of the equipment, and it can also be dangerous, because it can also be like to hang somebody. No, this was not even a discussion.
At the Cricket World Cup, the match between Sri Lanka and Australia was abandoned because of heavy rain in Colombo. The match was a repeat of the 2007 final, and things got off to a fiery start as Australian fast bowler Shaun Tate had a difference of opinion with Sri Lankan opener Dilshan. Well, Tate's mood wasn't improved as Dilshan pulled out just before he was about to bowl. But he had the last word as Dilshan edged to slip. Brilliant fielding by Stephen Smith then had the Sri Lankans on the back foot. A great catch to dismiss Taranga was followed up by a run-out of Mahela Jayawardene. The home skipper Kumar Sangakkara's unbeaten 73 steadied the innings. Sri Lanka were 146 for 3 off 32.5 overs. When the rains came, both teams share a point each.
We understand how important this game was for the entire country, how eagerly everyone looked forward to it. And cricket lovers all over the world, it would have been a great game. So, you know, disappointing in that aspect. But also, as a side, 1 point, it's better than no points.
Well, I think we were only one breakthrough away, but saying that, they had batted pretty well, and it would have been a difficult run chase considering the way the wicket was playing. So, yeah, I think it would have been a decent game of cricket.
Sunday is a blockbuster day in Group B. It begins in Chennai, where South Africa play England. The South Africans have won both their games so far and look like one of the strongest teams in the tournament. In contrast, England have had an up-and-down World Cup. A creditable tie against India was followed by that shock defeat to Ireland. South Africa-born batsman Kevin Peterson should play, although he is to have a hernia operation after the tournament, meaning he'll miss the Indian Premier League.
There's still opportunity for us to win this World Cup, and there's still opportunity for us to improve and react better to these conditions. We haven't done it so far. We need to do it pretty quickly.
Prepared for the best England team tomorrow, and we expect them to bounce back. Obviously, the Ireland win would have hurt them a lot. It was terrific for, I think, the spirit of the World Cup to watch, watch them get the victory. But I think tomorrow will be a very, very different game.
Co-hosts India face Ireland in Sunday's other Group B match. India started the tournament with victory over Bangladesh and were then held by England in that dramatic draw. They'll have to be on their guard against giant killers Ireland, as the Irish are high on confidence after that big win over England, thanks largely to Kevin O'Brien, who recorded the fastest century in World Cup history.
Well, I think it was an unbelievable innings. He batted really well right from the very start. He went after the bowlers, and it was really impressive to see him